hopefully we get us a happily ever after.
Session, Honorable Nancy Simmons presiding.
Good morning, please proceed. Let's bring the jury. All right, members of the jury, good morning. At this time, we are opening statements, and Ms. Owens, the state may proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're here today because on December 3rd, 2010, this defendant decided to dress in dark clothing, enter into a pizza shop that he visited many times before, with a gun. The testimony will show that it's an automatic weapon, and took money out of the cash register. We'll ask that you find this man, Montes Wright, guilty of all the crimes alleged in the indictment, which include aggravated assault, armed robbery, and possession of a weapon during official crime. Thank you.
On December 3rd, 2010, young Mr. Wright was 16 years old. 16, he was not a man. He was a boy. And on that day, Super Crown Pizza was robbed. We don't disagree with that at all. It was not young Mr. Wright that robbed that store. Now, let me be very clear. We don't have to prove anything in this case. We have no burden. It's the prosecutor's burden. They have to prove beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt that that boy committed the crimes that they've charged him with. It's a high burden. Hold them to that burden.
State may call it first witness.
Can you tell us what exactly happened?
क्या हुआ आपको कह सकते?
मैं जब जूता तो मुझे आवाज़ नहीं दी तो फिर मैं आ गया.
I was cooking in the back and then I heard some noise, so I came in front. One man came and he was holding a gun.
What were you doing with the gun?
He had pointed it to my brother. He asked for money.
The second person that you saw that night is the same person you see here today.
आपको पक्का पता है ना दूसरा जिसको देखा वही यहाँ सामने बैठा है. Yes, 100%. He is always around our store, so we always see him.
Thank you, please.
You said that young Mr. Wright comes into your pizza parlor regularly.
आपके pizza parlor में आता रहता है, आप ये कहते हैं? Yes.
He has tattoos, right?
We just see his face. We don't see anything in detail what he has or not.
Okay. Have you ever seen his arms?
I don't look at people in that detail.
You don't see details with people.
It's rude to look at people if we look at them in detail like that.
Okay. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure I heard you, so I'm just going to repeat it to make sure. You said that it's rude to look directly at people and get details.
It's rude to look at people in detail like this.
Okay. Having seen young Mr. Wright so many times, even though you don't see detail, can you say whether or not at any time he wore braces?
उसमें कभी जानते वो braces पहनते हैं, ऐसा पहना था कुछ शादी? No, I don't remember.
No further questions, Your Honor.
The witness may step down, members of the jury will take one recess now, 15-minute break, and then we'll begin that.
I just don't think it's going very well. Because the problem is that they were just so sure that it was him. Even though they're like, we don't pay attention to detail. And investigator. She has her phone going straight to voicemail when I'm in the middle of trial. Can you please get a hold of her and tell her I need the dentist to bring along the picture that he took of DeMontez Wright after he took his braces off? I gotta run back into court.
Did you ever learn what type of weapon was used in this case?
Yes, ma'am. Semi-automatic weapon.
Okay. Can you tell us what exactly is located in that box?
It was a 25 auto, 50 grain FMJ Winchester box. Currently 13 bullets, full metal jacket inside the box.
You found those bullets, you say, under young Mr. Wright's bed, correct?
That's correct.
So you don't know how they got there. You don't know who put them there.
No, ma'am.
All automatic weapons don't take the same bullets, do they?
No, ma'am.
So you can't say if those bullets go to the gun that was used in the robbery at Crown Plaza Pizza.
I do not have an exact make and model of the weapon that was used. All I have is a brief description.
Is that a no?
Correct.
Okay, you indicated that you didn't take any fingerprints in the store.
At the time, there's nothing touched that the victims had told me.
Well,
And I assumed that there was gloves used at that time.
you assume that there were gloves used. So when you wrote in your report that gloves were used, that wasn't something someone told you, that was something you assumed.
But there was gloves used, yes.
Do you often assume things and put them in your police report?
No.
So this is just a one-time thing? Do you usually put things in your police report? No further questions, Your Honor.
State action left.
We call you next.
The defense would call Dr. Barry Clower. Are you familiar with DeMontez Wright?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
How do you know him?
He was a patient of mine for 3.5 years.
Did you put braces on him?
I sure did.
And can you tell me the exact date that you did that?
His treatment started in May of 2007 and concluded in December of 2010.
When you put braces on people, do you take a before picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you take pictures of your patients after you've removed their braces?
Absolutely.
Is this the picture that you took prior to putting the braces on?
Yes, ma'am. It sure is.
And does young Mr. Wright have a tattoo in that picture?
Yes, ma'am. Both sides of his neck.
And is this the picture that you took after you removed the braces on December 6, 2010?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And does he have tattoos in that picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
No questions from the state.
All right, we are closing arguments at this time. The state has the right to open and conclude.
Ladies and gentlemen, the defense would like you to believe this is more complicated than it is. This is an open and shut case. Atif Nassim knew who entered into their store. They know him. It's this man, DeMontez Wright. There was a lot of fuss about it. Oh, these guys don't remember this, that, and the other. Well, let's talk about what they do remember. They remember that this man entered into their store. That throughout the whole entire incident, this man had an automatic handgun in their face, terrifying them. They sat here today and said, a whole year later, and if you look, that man, DeMontez Wright, is the one who entered my store on December 3rd, stole money from me, put a gun to my head, and waved a gun at my brother, and took my money. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you that we have, in fact, proved our case beyond a reasonable doubt. And I ask that you find this defendant, DeMontez Wright, guilty of all the crimes in the indictment. 2 counts of armed robbery, 2 counts of aggravated assault, and 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. Thank you.
I want you to think of the criminal justice system as a really long road, okay? And at the beginning of that road is a charge. So they charge someone with a crime. At the end of that road is a conviction. Now, before the state can get to the end of that road, before the prosecutors can get to that conviction, they have a big brick wall in front of them. That brick wall is called reasonable doubt. Atif Sadiq said a number of things, but it's what he didn't say that I want you to focus on. It's what he didn't remember that I want you to focus on. What I found really interesting is that he said that young Mr. Wright comes in his store 3 to 4 times a week for the last 2 years. I was an English major, my math is terrible, but from what I gathered, that's about 342 times over the course of 2 years. But he didn't remember whether or not he had braces. And he didn't remember whether or not he had tattoos. I had braces. They were terribly embarrassing because every time you open your mouth, the very first thing that people see are those braces. And when he's coming in 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week for 2 years, you would know that he was wearing braces. And since they say he didn't always come in with long sleeves, they knew that he had tattoos. But the person that they described to the police did not have braces, and he did not have tattoos. Reasonable doubt. We would ask that you find the only just verdict of not guilty.
Members of the jury, you may now go to the jury room, but do not begin your deliberations until you've received the indictment, the evidence, and the verdict form. Thank you.
May see it come to order.
Let's bring the jury in. Members of the jury, have you reached the verdict?
Yes, we do.
Will you read that verdict to us, please?
In the Superior Court of Clayton County, State of Georgia, the State of Georgia versus the defendant DeMontes Gregory Wright, case number 2011 CR 636-8. Verdict, count number 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty of the offense of aggravated assault. Count number 2. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty of the offense of armed robbery. Count number 3. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty